Well, good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on enhancing the effectiveness of work from anywhere environments by CMR and Logitech. I'm Anil Chopra, VP Research and Consulting at CMR and your host for this webinar. Our apologies for this slight delay in starting the webinar, but I'm so glad that you could join us. We have a number of interesting sessions and a panel discussion lined up on the same title as today's webinar. But before we begin, here are some housekeeping notes. For the duration of the webinar, all attendee lines are going to be in listen-only mode. So if you have questions, please keep posting them via the chat window. We'll take them up towards the end of today's webinar. A recording of this webinar will be available on our website on demand, cmrindia.com. So if you'd like to listen to it again. So with that, let's begin. And to really, set the context for today's discussion, let me kind of, spend about 5 minutes or so, and share some quick global trends that are leading to work from anywhere environments. And these are basically, these are based on various studies and various surveys that have been conducted by renowned agencies globally, including a survey done by CMR recently, where we reached out to 300 employees at different levels to understand how the two waves have impacted them and how their expectations have really changed. So basically, if I were to look at it, I would sum it up as top 10 work from anywhere trends. First, if you look at employees have started spending more days working from home than office, and in fact, the average number of days that they spend working from home actually went up from 3 to even 5 days a month. And this number, of course, varies from various organizations or for different organizations. Some have asked employees to return to office on all days of the week, but these are trends across organizations. And according to another study of employee sentiment, about a third employees in Indian organizations have absolutely no intention of returning to office post the pandemic. So it's like, they seem to have gotten used to the current environment of working from home or working from anywhere. It's basically a study called the Ding Prebid Index, which surveyed about 6,000 respondents globally. So this was the sentiment for the Indian organizations. Another interesting statistic is that, again, according to various global surveys, that employees were spending 63% of their meeting time in person about 2 years ago, that is in 2019. This dropped to 33% this year as more meetings took place virtually. And again, predictions are that this is likely to drop further to about 25% by 2024. So I think the usage of virtual meetings is increasing, in-person meetings are reducing. Now, more virtual meetings obviously implies that there's an increase in the usage of collaboration tools, which is what the next point suggests. And what we see is that there was a 44% increase in the usage of collaboration tools ever since the pandemic started. So obviously, as more people move to virtual meetings, they are likely to use more and more of collaboration tools. And here, Zoom, of course, did gain popularity as the most preferred tool for video conferencing, according to data from another research firm. In fact, Zoom has become synonymous to video calls, and which is why nowadays we all commonly hear, I'm on a Zoom call, instead of I'm on a video call. So that's the popularity that, the platform enjoys. In fact, we're all also doing this over a Zoom call. So that is, what's really happening in terms of usage of, collaboration and video conferencing tools. Of course, besides Zoom, there's usage of other cloud-based personal and team productivity technologies also an increase, like online storage, sharing, and mobile messaging tools also saw an significant increase during this time. But of course, this increase in usage of collaboration technologies has come with its own set of challenges. And, I'm sure that, we've all suffered from the fact that every time we get onto a meeting, something or the other happens at the back end, maybe some noise in the kitchen or the neighbor starts, doing some sort of banging. So that has become a key challenge, all the background noise in video calls, that has been a key challenge that most people seem to be facing nowadays. And of course, the longer hours being spent in front of the laptop is another challenge, because they don't really get to, we don't really get to go out and meet people as much as we used to. So that, although, that we have no other choice, but, that's another challenge that people are really saying. Apart from poor audio quality, that also has been, highlighted as a key challenge that people seem to be facing when they are connected virtually. The last 2 points are more about what employees expect from technology to empower their work from anywhere environment. First, of course, they want better connectivity, because, and better headsets to kind of combat the noise related challenges in the previous point, maybe noise cancellation or something that kind of, stops this background noise. And lastly, of course, an interesting one is a digital assistant to capture, automatically capture notes while they're in a meeting. That's another thing that they expect in their organization. So basically, work from anywhere has become a reality in at least in the foreseeable future. Just give me a second, please. So work from anywhere has become a reality, and we are likely to see that in the foreseeable future. So best is to really look at enhancing the effectiveness of, these environments. And how do you really do that? And that is where our discussion really comes in. And I'm going to just stop right there, for this and have a, we're ready for a discussion. But the idea is that, there's no real fighting it. We know that work from anywhere is a reality. So how do we really enhance the effectiveness of work from anywhere environment? Before we start the discussion on this topic, I'd like to, run a quick poll. So can we please have the poll question? Okay, how do you rate your existing collaboration infrastructure with respect to virtual meetings? We have everything. We're almost perfect. We are working on a better plan. We are evaluating options, or we are in discussion stage. So once people have participated in this, I'd request the admin to go ahead and share the results. Can we have the results, please, if the time is up for the participation? Okay, so it seems that everyone is working on a better plan. Absolutely, yes. If virtual collaboration is likely to increase, then there is a need to kind of enhance the current infrastructure to make it more friendly for virtual meetings. So thank you for sharing that. It is now time for the panel discussion, and it's my pleasure to introduce my co-panelists. I'd request the admin to bring show all the panelists in the center. So it's my pleasure to introduce Pratesh Mankotia. He is the CIO for Sheela Foam. I request you to just wave so that people can see you. We have Rajiv Mittal, Endurance Technologies, CIO Endurance Technologies, and we have Shiva Subramanian, M, Global CIO at VA Tech Wabag Limited. And we have Anand Lakshman, Head of Video Collaboration, India and Southwest Asia at Logitech. Thank you and welcome, gentlemen. I request all of you to unmute yourself so that now we can hear, your views on various aspects. So as you know, that the pandemic has caused an irreversible impact on how we really communicate, right? And it has made work from anywhere a reality. And, in fact, what we are seeing is that we now spend 5 times more time in virtual meetings than before. And I, showed some statistics on that. Unfortunately, the dark side of virtual meetings is that people tend to do a lot of unproductive work also during these meetings. And there could even be imposters or people joining a meeting. If it has a lot of participants, you don't know who all are really joining in. So that security angle is also there. So in order to really minimize this unproductive work, maximize output from virtual meetings, it's kind of important to enhance the meeting experience, and ensure that they're engaging with, equal participation from everyone, no matter where they join from. So I think that's basically the context to look at how do you really make these work from anywhere environments more effective. So first question to you, Rajiv. Various studies, and in fact, I showed some of those stats in my talk just now, that a lot of employees now prefer a work from anywhere environment. Do you also feel that this is here to stay? And what are some of the challenges that you see in enabling such an environment?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Considering the situation which has emerged from 2020 and adopted by everyone, so I would say the work from anywhere concept is going to stay, because this has created a new perspective in the way we used to work previously and now we are working. Yes, the percentage of work from anywhere is differentiating from industry sector to industry sector, because each and every industry cannot adopt the same way of working, because the manufacturing companies have different requirements, the BFSI has different requirement, okay, pharma has different requirement, and any other company is having different requirements. So it varies, or similarly for ITS is having different requirement. So to answer straight a question that whether the work from anywhere concept will continue for longer period, yes, this will continue, but the adoption percentage will vary from industry to industry. This is one. The other aspect, the question which you asked, Anil, can you just repeat the last part of the question?
Yes, the challenges in enabling such an
challenges, of course. The challenges, and you have beautifully jot down 10 points in your presentation. So many of them are challenges which we are facing, because it is very prominent that when people are working, especially work from home, not everybody is having luxury of having large space to work from home, because the home is a shared place where the family members are there all around. So obviously the disturbances tend to happen. It is not a quiet environment like it is an office working environment. And similarly, person is working not from home, not from office, or from anywhere else, maybe from railway station or from airport or from some other places. So surrounding disturbances are going to happen, definitely, without say. Apart from that, there are certain infrastructure issues which we are facing. Fortunately, these infrastructure issues are very less in metro cities, but more high in terms of percentage in B2 or C-class cities, where the infrastructure is still in the growth path. Undoubtedly, there is a significant improvement in past 2 years, but still there are challenges. Sometimes the bandwidth is not sufficiently available, connectivity issues there, power issues are there. Not every person who is participating in work from anywhere is having sophisticated gadgets like a sophisticated smartphone or a decent laptop provided by the organization. So many times organizations are telling that they can use their own infrastructure, and not everybody is having this type of infrastructure. So these are certain challenging aspects. I'm sure that organizations, those who are highly dependent on work from anywhere concept or work from outside office concept, are thinking towards it, and many of them are facilitating this type of infrastructure. So these are from the infrastructure point of view, and you have also mentioned in your slide that noise cancellation phone, the microphone, a decent earphone or headphone is also important to communicate in virtually when there is a meeting. So when there is no meeting, the person is working on the office stuff. Somebody is working on the office enterprise application, somebody is working on office stuff for day-to-day working and doing accounting or any other stuff. At that time also it requires a high level of connectivity, a decent connectivity, so that person can work without any break. So like a secured connection or VPN connection. So this also brings into picture the other infrastructure should be in place. For example, uh, VPN connection has to be there. Failover arrangement at the enterprise level has to be there. The failover arrangement at the person who is working at the remote should be there. So these are also another aspect. And on top of that, the very important aspect is the data security, which is a concern for each and every organization, because when the person is working beyond the boundary of organization, these are the challenges. Because some of the people may be working on important and critical aspects. Some of the people may be working on the aspect for which the organization is having IPR or confidentiality. So this is an organization concern that how to safeguard that information. So we know that it's not a doubt on everybody is working, right, but we know that data leak also happens from the people itself. So it is very difficult to know that who is really participating in data leak or who is not. So, but for the organization, it is very important to safeguard that information. So, of course, the companies are adopting cloud, but still there are certain challenges in that from the seamless connectivity perspective. So, from my point of view, these are certain challenges which are overcoming. People are overcoming from that. Companies are overcoming from that, and thanks to technology companies and IT companies and IT facilities companies, they are improving at lightning speed on all these aspects. So these are the pointers from my side.
Thanks, Rajiv. Very well summed up in terms of the challenges that people are facing. And of course, as you rightly said, it's all industry dependent. The challenges will vary according to, industry to industry, and the work from anywhere environment will also vary. But, that leads me to a very interesting another, question. Since you raised the challenges, I think it's also important to understand how, what should be done in terms of IT setup and the policies and all that. So which is where, I'd like to ask Shiva, in terms of, all these challenges that Rajiv has highlighted, what changes do you think are really required to the IT setup and policies for, combating some of these challenges or enabling, work from anywhere culture? Maybe to also, apart from some of these challenges, to also monitor the adoption of technology, whether people are using it, to understand, what challenges employees are facing, and try to resolve those challenges. They're sitting in remote locations and all that. So what should be really the, IT setup and the policies according to you?
Thank you, Anil. I think it's been a long time since we are connected, and I think thanks to your question, Rajiv is fully covered on what are the challenges and how it is going to be happening. So I represent EPC industry where we have never thought that work from home or work from anywhere is possible, even in the dream. So it has happened. Fortunately, unfortunately, pandemic has proved that any industry can do the work from home or work from anywhere. So we have seen the entire cycle of work from home, then partially migrating from work from home to hybrid kind of environment. Now 100% we are actually working from home, working from office. So we have seen we are the first kind of industry where we have seen the entire cycle. So I think a couple of things which Rajiv, already most of things which he has covered. I think one of the major things what is from the management perspective is also being asked is that how do you measure the productivity, whether you do it on the work from home or now the productivity concept is has taken a front seat, and how do you do that? And obviously he has covered all the other things. So majority of things is the industries have to be very kind of infrastructure readiness is one major thing. I think not all the sectors will be facing it, but there are certain sectors were not really ready with the infrastructure. For let's take an example of if somebody has a high-end systems for using it for designing and software, the designing perspective, and that will not even have a dongle for accepting the Wi-Fi. So getting that Wi-Fi itself was a challenge when in the very short duration, and how do you get it, and how do you educate the users, and how do you connect them to VPN, and then they come into our working environment. That was the major challenges also faced. I think from the policy perspective, there are a couple of things which I think is important. One is the whether you, as I said, it's infrastructure readiness. If you are not provided necessary infrastructure to the employees, and if they are ready to work from with their own equipments, how do you ensure that your data is secured, and how do you ensure that that particular whatever the systems, their operating systems, people will come with the Mac and all the OSs, and how do you ensure that whether it is something is not there in the system and you're allowing him to come to our network and VPN or whatever it is, but how do you ensure that security of this particular system? So that is one of the major challenge. And apart from this technical thing, I think it's also very important for us to do the physical connect, which is what is misses, and most of the time is generally what happens is people connect to the meeting and they just go for a meeting and they switch off the video and only audio will be there, and all the other disturbances. There are some discipline has to be there as part of the policy. So one is on the policy perspective, irrespective of whether you are working from office or home or wherever it is, the working environment has to be defined in that policy, and you also need to have what kind of traffic which you are getting into. That also need to be monitoring, whether as if he is there in the proxy control has to be there, like as if you are in a LAN network. So web proxy kind of things is just to be a part of the policy, and depends on the job profile again. What are things you'll be having access to the corporate network. So depends on that, the policy will vary, as well as the OS update and other antivirus and all that. We should ensure that it has to be on all the time or whatever it is. Now that most of the times earlier we used to have a different antiviruses where only during the lunchtime that will run and updates. So now there are lots of other opportunities are there. Products are available in the market where it's a kind of clientless and agentless antiviruses and stuff like that. And it's also very important for us to do the kind of zero trust or micro segmentation, where you trust only the particular networks and ensure that whatever the traffic comes into that system is all thoroughly monitored and measured, so that at least you have some control over the assets which is not part of your own corporate network. And I think it's also very important that we need to have a kind of VA kind of activities on a particular periodic interval basis, so that at least every day there are some new threats and vulnerabilities that keep coming after the pandemic. Maybe that is one of the main reasons why everybody used to be on the top of the technology in terms of securing their corporate networks. I think these are all from the technical or the technology perspective. I think what are the other things which from the HR or other perspectives, that how do you ensure that employees are motivated, the collaboration happens within the team? How do you engage? I recently had an interview for a particular candidate. To answer to one of these, I think he says, so you guys don't do work from home? We actually got selected, and finally his question, do you have anything to ask? So how many days, when do you want to come to office? He said, so it is a kind of, you'll have to be in office. He said, there is no concept of work from home. So like the readiness for the people to come to office itself is 100% is not there only in the IT culture, or maybe in some of the financial sectors or whatever it is. Yeah, these are things I think is major things. How do you ensure that productivity of an particular resources is what makes one compare with the how do you set your goal and how do you monitor, and that is the major one which needs to be addressed. I don't know, still there, though you have a timesheet and booking and all that is still there, but without even entering that, to ensure that somebody is there on the productivity is fully covered.
No, very good point, Shiva. I think that's a very interesting question. I'm sure we all probably get that, where employees before joining, they're asking, don't you guys provide work from home? I've also faced the same issue where certain people I was hiring, they asked that question saying that, do you have work from home or not? Because, and in some cases, people did not want to join if we didn't have a work from home, kind of a facility that was given. So from an HR perspective, I think that's one big change we're saying, where people are like wanting to, not wanting to come to office. So they want to work from home. So good from a policy point of view, and yes, from a technology point of view, as you said, collaboration infrastructure, security, access control, monitoring what employees are doing. So some very relevant points that you've added are there. To take that a little further, the part about the policy, I think I'm going to come to Pratesh on this one. I'm again, Pratesh, this is a practical question we all keep, facing. That though our meeting times have increased so much, right? We spend so much time doing virtual meetings. As a result of that, we see people kind of might end up wasting a lot of time in these meetings. So while they're attending a meeting, they'll probably switch off the video, do some personal work and all that. I'm sure it's not possible to completely stop that. But is there a way to minimize that? Are there any policies that should be put in place to kind of make sure that people are participating and productive in meetings?
Thank you. So for your answer to your question is, let me tell it to you, you have to put discipline yourself first. I think that's the most important thing, whether you work from the home or work from the office. But when you work from the home, your discipline lacks, you're getting time, your waking up time, your sleeping time, your lunch time, everything get disturbed. This we have observed it. And this is the where I come from there. Actually, the discipline, how you sustain that when you're into the home. And it's with some of the people when you see that it happens. And second, these virtual meetings are good. But what has happened? People have started inviting everyone into that now. So he can also come, he can also come, he can also come. People don't know about it, how much people are adding the value to it. I think that's a one more area. Second, what we have done it in our office, we have kept 2 days for a meeting, right? 2 days, Monday or Tuesday, you can keep all those. Rest of the days, less people can do the work. So you can plan it in such a manner. Your meeting are productive in those times, and you can plan in at least every day you're planning those things and calling everyone, I think is just sheer wastage of time. I think those small things, if, depending on the organization need, you can take it. And what is the participation level needed? It's not he's available online, he doesn't need to travel, you just call him over there. I think that's a cultural change is happening. It's a productive, it's effective, but other side, it's also wasting the resources, wasting the time. Discipline is the most important. And when you're attending something, we also see something not people attendant, because they are I will not blame those people. I'll say when they are called, even if they don't have they have to contribute just 5%, what they will do is sitting at the 95% of the time. So it's not their fault also. They have to be involved if they need it. It's not that. And best way is what we do it also. Like if I would call some of the places, if my part is over in 5 minutes, they will say, okay, you can now log out, you can do your work is done. I think these small things, we have to take care of those things. That's what from my side in this area.
No, very, very true. I think it's no point of having everyone in and then wasting everyone's time. Better to have discipline and, make sure you get people, at the time that they're needed. And apart from that, why let them, kind of stay back and all that? It just wastes everyone's time. So good point on that. Anand, one question to you, and I think this is based on, you saw the poll result, right?
Yes.
Where, most of the people said that they're working on a better plan in terms of, their collaboration infrastructure. So maybe, based on your experience, with many of the your customers, you can talk about some of the key challenges that they're facing in, implementing a sound collaboration infrastructure. And of course, to add on to what the other panelists have said, if you'd like.
Yeah, first of all, thanks, Anil. Interesting discussion. Thanks for this opportunity to actually present our views also. Yes, you are right. We have been talking to customers and in a very intense manner over the last 2 years. And one of the biggest challenges that customers are facing is the fact that when we all left our respective offices in 2019, meetings were happening in meeting rooms, right? Now meetings are happening everywhere. The topic of this discussion is work from anywhere, right? So meetings are also happening everywhere. So the tools that we were all using in 2019, most of them are irrelevant today because they just could not catch up with the changes in the way people used to. People are now meeting rather, right? So one of the first things that people had to do was take this whole meeting infrastructure to the cloud so that it complements this concept of work from anywhere, right? So that's what they did. And thanks to people like Microsoft and Zoom and Google and all of these platform providers, they provided a platform. Now came the second challenge. Okay, you can now probably connect with your colleagues wherever you are, wherever they are. But what about experience? And again, going back to 2019, the reason why we were probably able to accomplish so much in those days, in those meetings, is because we were able to see people very well. We were able to hear them well. We were able to get our points across and, I mean, obviously absorb their points as well. So it was a very interactive meeting. But the same thing in a virtual setup is not that easy, right? Especially if people are not coming on video, right? We all saw that. When the whole pandemic started, all organizations were very particular that people come on video. So they, I mean, you also mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, right? Keep your cameras on. So participating through video was so important. And then we also went through a cycle where we heard about so-called meeting fatigue. And then people started switching off their cameras. The moment you switch off the camera, and you participate only on audio, it's a very different feeling altogether, right? You don't know whether the person is participating, and you said, when you have too many participants in a meeting, you don't know who's logged in, who's contributing, who's not contributing. These are some of the challenges. But thankfully, the good news is that there are a lot of tools that are available beyond the software platforms for you to use, which are simple, easy to deploy, easy to manage, and more effective, right? For instance, webcams. You spoke about headsets because people are working in all kinds of environments which are noisy. There are neighbors who are doing some civil work in their apartments. There are dogs that are barking. Our own kids. I mean, Rajivji mentioned we are encroaching upon family space, right? And we are converting our homes into offices. So obviously, kids will continue to do what they are doing, which is play with friends. So which will include in our work day, right? So while there are headsets that will take care of that, this whole thing about video can be enabled through good webcams, and these don't cost an arm and a leg, right? These days, you have very, very good cameras that are available at the cost of, let's say, a mid-range Android phone. So the secret is you got to, like you said, Anil, rightly, we first need to acknowledge that this is not going away. Right? We have all been through this for almost 2 years now, almost, right? I think it's time that we acknowledge that this is a new way of working and give in to it. That's number one. Number two, make the necessary investments that are, required for you to have a peaceful work environment, both at home as well as in the office. Whether your organization is reimbursing or not, I think it is important for you to make those investments, whatever little you can, right? For good audio, good video, bandwidth, all of those are very, very important. So these are actually the practical challenges that customers are facing. But, like they say, leave it to the experts. When you go back to the offices that we all left in 2019, and the very fact that these meeting rooms are no longer going to be relevant in the way they existed in 2019 for us to use them as meeting rooms now, you got to make subtle changes, right? We have a lot of customers who are telling us that, they're actually converting large boardrooms into small, independent, many huddle rooms, right? And huddle rooms, again, need to have video enabled in it, good audio, which are, again, possible. So while there are challenges that organizations are facing, technology is also catching up, and there are people available in the market to help you implement some of these so that you don't have to struggle much. And the experience for both the employees as well as the organization, both can be really good.
Thanks, Anand. I think good point. I think absolutely, if this is not going away, you have to acknowledge that and then kind of work towards ensuring that, there is sound infrastructure to make, enable everyone to work everywhere. But yeah, I think the concept of productivity seems to be, there on everyone's mind. And Rajiv, that's where my next question comes to you, is that, employee productivity could actually be increased if, their engagement is actually increased. So, besides defining, rules and bringing in behavioral changes that, some of the panelists already talked about, is there a way for technology also to use to empower, virtual presence of participants? How can technology really be used to make employees get, more engaged in meetings?
Sorry,
So-
Rajesh, go on.
Yeah, please go ahead, Anand.
No, I wanted to ask Anil, who is this question for, but looks like I missed that part probably because of the internet. Go on, sir. Thank you.
Okay. See, fortunately, that all virtual meeting platform. See, work from anywhere, we are maximum time we are correlating with virtual meetings. While work from anywhere is not just a virtual meeting. Work from anywhere while doing my office stuff also while sitting at home or sitting at other places. It's not always meeting, but since most of the time it is linked with the meeting part, so I will give more emphasis on this meeting part. If you see today's time that all virtual platform, all virtual meeting collaborative platforms are evolved. And if you see MS Teams 3 years ago and MS Teams today, it is a much more evolved software. Similar thing for Zoom, similar thing for Webex. Webex is not new in the market. This is existing for more than 15 years. But earlier time, conducting such type of virtual meetings was basically just a dream in the recent way, the way it is happening today. So from the platform enhancement point of view, from the facilitation point of view, from the compression enablement point of view, this has evolved like anything. So also in the backend infrastructure, in terms of bandwidth availability, in terms of various other things, by virtue of smartphone, and people practice and people have it to use such kind of platform. There is a change everywhere. So from the adoption point of view, from the facilitation point of view, from the platform and environment enablement point of view. And there are various things to make things and make conversation interesting are available virtually in the platform, like emojis, various things, some tags, some maybe whiteboarding, maybe Q&A session, maybe chat session, various things. So these are basically why. These are basically to facilitate, to make things interactive. Okay. So that it should not be working in the plain vanilla and monotonous way, which used to be earlier. So this is one part. The other part is related to, from the participation point of view and the productivity point of view, is setting up of certain ground rule. Because if anybody is one, like Pratish told, that each and everybody should not be just sitting there while their contribution or the participation is just for 5 minutes. So this is part and parcel of the disciplinary and the organization policy, what to set. So that suppose somebody is requiring 5 minutes participation, person should participate 5 minutes and get out, which is much easier in virtual platform as compared to physical platform. Because physically, once you are going to that particular place, you have no choice. Either you are sitting at the reception or you are sitting in the meeting room. While virtually it is doable and very much possible. So this is also one of the aspects of increasing the productivity of the person, because 5 minutes contribution, that's all, finished. So travel time is cut, unnecessarily wasting of time is cut, the person can be focused and other things. So from the interactiveness point of view, there are various things, like I just a minute ago, I told that these are things available. The other part is the disciplinary part. Like one of the panelists told that people are on, they are not keeping video on. So which is also another area which we need to address, where the real serious participant of the meeting are really not aware that other side person is really listening or not. So many times what happens when the video is off, the things are on, the participant itself is not there in front of computer. Okay. This has been seen and experienced by everyone most of the time or many times. So this is also a challenge. So this can be settled by setting up certain policy. Of course, you can do it very well within your organization with your employees, but you can't do it at outside. Suppose a webinar is happening, you can't dictate the term. So it is their choice. It is their liking or disliking there, whether they are just keeping video, they are keeping meeting on or just away from that computer, or they are participating or they are listening attentively. So probably, as per my experience, when the video is on, so the participation and the engagement is high, and the interest of all the participants are more. Of course, this is not sitting virtually, but at least person can make eye contact, person can understand the body language of the other person, and there can be some kind of connect when the video is on. So which can further enhance the effectiveness and the productivity of the meeting. Apart from that, of course, when the experience is good and infrastructure issue is not there, all facilitation are there. So these are the things which can be set as a rule, which can enhance the productivity and the supportiveness of the meeting.
Now, good points, Rajiv. I think you are very well said that if the video is on, participation is on. If it's off, you really can't do anything about it. You don't know what they're really doing. So best is to kind of have some policies in place so that people are kind of engaged and all. And yes, these tools have evolved like anything in the past 2 years. I don't think we would have ever imagined doing meetings the way we are doing now, as we're doing now. We couldn't have imagined doing it 2 years ago. So huge difference there. But just, I think, kind of extending this a little further on enhancing the productivity and all that. Now hybrid meetings have become a reality, right? People are logging in remotely. There are people sitting in office doing the meeting. Is that really, a kind of a challenge in terms of conducting these meetings? How do you really make sure that you can maximize the participation and output from those kind of meetings? Where, if you are all sitting in the room, then it's easy to control, right? If you are all doing it virtually, again, to some extent, you have better control. But what if now you have people sitting in the meeting room and people sitting remotely? Do you face that kind of a situation? How do you really manage that?
So one thing is there, the meeting, the agenda, let me tell it to you, it depends upon what you're discussing. If it is a collaboration, let's say, if you want to do some kind of the innovation, of course, physical is required. Then what Rajiv also said, I agree. When people have to come from Bangalore, let's see some of the part of the agenda, then people can present there. We did that actually, and it works very well because you need someone for 10 minutes, someone need for 15 minutes, you need their inputs for that subject. But yes, of course, core people should be present over there. But the other people is hybrid works very well. Your place is not crowded. You can talk in privacy also after that, what needs to be done. You can take their input also. I think that's a wonderful thing, and it works pretty well. We have seen it. We have tested where few people is working from the home because it's a convenience for them. If they're convenience for them, they can deliver better. I think so. That's what we feel about it. And that's the best thing, actually, we have seen it. Hybrid is best. Hybrid is not that I'm coming office 3 days and 3 days. Hybrid is meeting is very good. If someone we are at Neoda, right? And somebody from Gurgaon has to come. He'll waste at least in a peak time, he'll waste at least 2 hours in a traffic, 2 to 4 hours. See how unproductive these hours. So I think that's the biggest thing which we have seen it, we have experienced. And if you need someone for half an hour also, he will be wonderful. It is not from your employee. It can be a vendor also. It can be one of the advisor of yours also. I think this is a perfect model, is going to stay forever, whether both teams are working in a different offices. This hybrid model has given us the new shape, and it works very well, especially in the environment when you are not doing just checking something, this has been done, especially when you are doing some collaboration and multiple people are needed. I think it's working very well, and we have also tested it out. I think it works very well for us.
Yeah, I'm sure it works very well for all of us. I'm sure that very valid point you said, that if somebody has to come all the way from you're in Greater Noida, somebody has to come all the way from Delhi, rather than them coming all the way from Delhi, wasting 2 hours, they just come on a virtual meeting in a hybrid mode, and things get done. So I think that's something that works out for all of us. So hybrid meetings actually are a blessing that way.
So on second, I'll add it. You can do it faster. When you have to call 6 people physically from different location, it takes, I have seen many times meeting gets postponed. So people are not available. So in this meeting also happens. That's also one way I have seen it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
finally, there will be one dropout.
Sorry.
And finally, there will be one dropout even after so much time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is the challenge. But now, at least those things will not happen. If somebody maximum participation will happen now, right? If people have to come in, log in remotely. But Shiva, there is one key question that comes in amidst all this. I mean, while all this sounds excellent, that people can log in virtual meetings and all that stuff, but one issue that is really there is the connectivity, right? I think that is one challenge that we all face. When we are working remotely, there are connectivity issues, there is poor bandwidth and all that stuff. Do you think that now, collaboration technologies are, they have enabled employees to, connect even in low bandwidth situations? How do you really tackle that kind of a situation?
See, I think it's important that most of the time what happens is people also take there is some reason to blame there may be some adequacy. So generally what they do is, even I've seen a couple of meetings in the review meeting happens when bosses scolding them, hello, sir, आवाज नहीं सुन रहा है. So that is a kind of so the technology is becoming a kind of escape route for a couple of times. So that is the lighter note. I think they have an option for us to go now the tools comes with the low bandwidth mode and high bandwidth mode, and maybe you can even shift it to only even you can attend it when you're driving mode. So all that options are already available in the technological platform. I think the simplest thing is that you can just simply switch off your video and you can just put into the audio, and most of the time if you are giving it on remote or something like that, it is people, you are going to see what you are going to see. It is not going to be audio, and video is not going to be there. Only the kind of data is only in the minimal status which is going to be there. And if any critical meetings, I think we should have both the ends. It's not only from your end, it's your basically your WAN is not only your office network, your employees home is also now is kind of in the WAN. So yeah, there is a challenge, but though we claim that we have our 5G 4G and all this coming and we have infrastructure ready, but still we still face a problem in most of the places. Even in center of the cities, also certain locations there is an issue because of the telecoms industry itself, I think, is going through some kind of lacuna. So there is lots of scope for us to get improved in terms of infrastructure.
Yeah, absolutely, Shiva. Good point. I think tools have evolved to to a level where they can work in low bandwidth mode also. But let me ask Anand that question from a technology provider, solutions provider standpoint, as to what do you think, how has technology really evolved to be able to provide even connectivity even in low connectivity or poor connectivity, poor bandwidth situations, and add on to what the other panelists have said.
Okay, again, a good an interesting question, Anil. The fact of the matter is, see, these room-based video collaboration tools that we were all using in 2019 were the very bandwidth-hungry solutions, okay? Because most of them were point-to-point, and you needed to provide a good connectivity between the locations for it to work well and for the experience to be good. But thanks to the advancement of technology, the moment meetings moved to the cloud, obviously the rest of the ecosystem also had to move along with it, right? So today, if you look at, for instance, the camera that I'm using right now to participate in this meeting, it's a 4K web camera, which can also, by the way, work on mobile internet. Assuming I have a power outage now, of course, I'll be logged off the meeting, but it will take me a couple of minutes to switch on my mobile internet and log into the meeting. And actually, none of you will feel any major difference in my audio or video, right? That's the advancement in terms of technology. So this is now being made use of people, especially in the education industry, because during the pandemic, while we all in IT and other industries had the luxury of working from home, choosing the times, asking customers for additional time to deliver projects XYZ. Not everybody were so lucky, right? For example, government continued to work during the entire pandemic. And after some point of time, education, and we were all worried about what will happen to our kids' education, right? Because it took a break, so education had to continue. And there are so many schools today in India which are not in the metro cities, not even in the cities. They are like far away, and even those schools are today actually doing virtual classes. They are conducting virtual classes. They are doing online education. How do you think this is possible? This is obviously possible only because the tutor is sitting elsewhere. Students are actually logging in from multiple different locations, and not all of them have broadband at home, right? So this is the good thing that has happened to the technology, and it is only improving. It is only improving. More and more cameras are coming which are capable of working on lower bandwidth, right? So this is the straight answer to your question, Anil. So people who are worried about bandwidth, and there are a lot of financial institutions, especially because of the government of India's mandate on financial inclusion. They have a lot of branches in villages and other remote locations, right? How do you bring them all into the network of the main operation? It's absolutely possible. So people who are thinking about it, just relax. Technology is just improving, and it's also becoming affordable, right? More and more affordable. So you will be able to involve everybody in the mainstream.
Thanks, Anand. Thanks for sharing that. I think with that, we are really running out of time now. So, I think it's time to end the panel discussion, but I think great insights from everyone in terms of both technology, policy, and some very, very practical situations and solutions to problems that we've all been facing, in terms of hiring employees, working from home, or getting people together in a meeting rather than physically do virtual and all that. So a lot of technology, how it's evolved also. So some really great points have come from all of you. So thank you, all of you, so much for, sparing your time and sharing your insights today.
अनिल जी एक पॉइंट बोलना है जस्ट बिफोर यू
प्लीज
सो वर्क फ्रॉम एनीवेयर के कंसेप्ट में एक चीज और बहुत अच्छी हो गई है कि सपोज अगर आपको आपके किसी एम्प्लॉय को फैसिलिटेट करना है, किसी कारण से वो ऑफिस नहीं आ पा रहा है, तो जरूरी नहीं है मीटिंग में पार्टिसिपेट करे, लेकिन सपोज ईआरपी पे काम करना है, फॉर एग्जांपल अकाउंट्स क्लर्क है, उसको बहुत सारा काम करना होता है, तो आज आप रिमोट फैसिलिटी के साथ उसको कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, कुछ है, तो वो प्रोडक्टिव भी रह सकता है और उसको आप सपोर्ट भी कर सकते हैं और आपका काम भी हो सकता है। ये भी टेक्नोलॉजी से और इस करंट एनवायरनमेंट में इनेबल हुआ है, जो कि बहुत ही अच्छी बात है और वो बहुत बड़ा गेम चेंजर है सभी इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए एज वेल एज ऑल पीपल, सभी लोगों के लिए भी।
No, absolutely. I think yes, that's something that has really helped.
So I will add on Rajiv part. What you can do it today, and what we are doing it, you can scout a talent at the other remote cities also. Remote means tier 2, tier 3, tier 3 cities. You not only get the economical way, you go the economical way, but you get the good talent over there. I think that's another thing which is happening. So the attrition rate will certainly go down also in the organization, and you get a very dedicated people from these cities.
Recruitment also has got a boon. You're no longer limited to geography. You can hire people from anywhere, and you can probably find talent
and your cost can go down also.
And your cost can also go down. Absolutely. Very, very relevant point. So thanks, Shiva. Do you want to also add something?
I think to add to what Rajiv and Pratisha said, there are high-end consultants are also available at the cheaper rate, so that at least we can utilize them, because even we have there is also legal function, so they are legal. We were just chatting with my legal head. He was saying, sir, earlier if you wanted to have this particular lawyer, you used to charge a bomb and you used to come all the way from Delhi to here and do it. Now everything is online. I was just sitting with them for one hearing. It was amazing to see that. So he says he is a hi-fi lawyer, but still we are able to get it, and he can attend the same time, in the same day, multiple cases and things. So it is a win-win for both.
Very, very practical benefit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very practical. Anand, you want to add something and conclude, because we're at the end of the discussion?
Yeah, the final point that I want to make for people, I mean, I'm just going back to the poll. We saw people saying that they're working on a better plan, right? A lot of them said they're working on a better plan. So to those people, all I want to say is like Shiva mentioned, there are good consultants available in the market, and gone are those days where they were charging an arm and a leg. Right now, because they themselves don't have to travel physically, if you make inputs available to them, they will be able to provide a good design for you to adapt, your existing environment to the hybrid world that we are all being forced into by the pandemic. That is the number one point I want to make. Number two, even from a let's say the tools and endpoints perspective, things have become fairly easy. When the pandemic began, one of the biggest challenges that organizations had, and I'm sure all three of them on the panel here can relate to it, was the IT team did not suddenly grow overnight, right? IT team remained the same 10, 20, 30 people that they were. But suddenly this 10, 20 people had to cater to the new IT demands of thousands of people who are working from home, right? So from a technology standpoint, things have again improved. While they have got enhanced in terms of their effectiveness, they have also become easy to manage. Now, today, sitting in one place, you can, let's say, from a video collaboration perspective, you can actually deploy cameras across your organization around the world if you're a global company. But sitting in one place, you can actually view them, you can administer them, you can troubleshoot them, and you can enable, disable them. And in the post-COVID world, I hope there is a world called post-COVID world. If we all get there, there will be regulations that we all have to adhere to. Social distancing is not going to go away. We still have to maintain that distance. If you have a 3-seater room, you will want to know when a fourth person is trying to walk into the room. All those things are still going to be important. And actually, you can put the video cameras to those users as well. And the software that come along with the cameras will help you understand these things so that your decisions can now be based more on data than on hearsay or gut feel. So again, I just want to assure people who are working on a better plan that there are lots and lots of support available for you. You just have to do a little bit of research and reach out to the right people. That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anand. I think good points, and we have, it's been such an interesting discussion that we've kind of just been continuing on and on doing this discussion. So real quickly, I'm going to request, Ritesh Pangasa, who is from Logitech. He heads the pre-sales for India and Southwest Asia, to, do a quick session. And if the panelists, if it's possible for you to stay back, please do that for the Q&A. We'll quickly do the session and then just do a quick Q&A. So thank you so much to all of you. I'll request Ritesh to take over.
Thank you, Anil. Thanks, everybody. It was a great session, and I can see a lot of information coming in. And as we already overshoot the time, so I will quickly move on to the presentation. Quick introduction about the product. And if you have any questions, definitely you can reach me out, or you can reach Anil, and he can divert that questions to me later on. So let us start with the PPT quickly. So I will, Anil, just let me know when the time is over, so that I can wind up the things as early as possible. So we, as a Logitech, started in 1998 with a small webcam, which is black and white webcam, and then we moved to a full-fledged video conferencing portfolio, which we are carrying today, right from the supporting of any VC application onto your laptop, to the mobile device, or to the conference room, or to a very, very large room. Few things which we already, Anand also described, that the world has been moving from H.323 or SIP device to the anywhere, any type of video conferencing, any cloud platform, multi-mode communication, either it's a huddle room or something like. So this is one of the important slide which I want to talk about, where the world is moving now. So that is from a dedicated conference room, on-premises conferencing, to a world where we are having any type of conference from anywhere. That is where the things are moving in. And yes, Logitech is answer to each and every solution which you require for your conference room, or a boardroom, or a huddle room, or a small room. So single OEM which can give you a solution right from a desk to the boardroom. So we have different product range, which I will give you a small brief on that product range in going slides. So a couple of slides which I want to share on the marketing part. I will skip other slides, so I will just focus on this one slide which I want to highlight. So number of units when it comes to the conferencing unit which we have sold in the market, Logitech stands number one onto that. That is the number of conference room which are been enabled by the VC, that is by video conferencing. Logitech has number one share in that. That is in Q1 to 2021. And then we have other competitor following us. So we hold up to 49.3. That is nearly about 50% of the market share. So I will skip these couple of slides. This is one of the important slides which generally people ask questions like, is your system is compatible to work with so and so cloud application or so and so hardware or so and so existing AV device? The answer to yes to this question is yes. We basically work on an operating system that is, it can be a Windows, it can be a Linux, it can be a iOS or whatever it is, whichever is support UVC or UAC protocols, that is Universal Audio Class and Universal Video Class, we are compatible to work with that. Definitely, we have strategic partners with Microsoft, Zoom, and Google because they are the market leader in VC application. But yes, we work with all the streams. Coming to the portfolio, we broadly divide our portfolio into two components. One is personal solution, and another is the team solution. One of the things which I want to showcase over here is the portfolio which you see in front of your screen as of now is USB driven portfolio. That is, you bring in your own device, that is, you bring in your laptop or a PC, permanent PC, or if you want a dedicated setup of that into the conference room, it is available with us. But these all devices are in BYOD mode. That is, they are simple camera, speaker, mic running on a single USB cable which goes into your laptop, and you are good to go either in a small 4-participant room, or it is a 6 to 8, or it is a 10 to 20, or even 40 to 50 seater room. So basically the hardware keep on changing, and we can accommodate all the conference rooms within that organization. Now, there are some organizations where they do not want to go with BYOD mode. That is, they want to enter in a conference room and they want everything to be ready. That is one touch to join experience. That is, they enter the room, the facial recognition comes up, or the voice command, with the help of voice command, they should be able to join the call. Yes, all that is available with Logitech. We have complete bundle portfolio where you have a AV device, that is audio video device for that particular required conference room. Either it can be a small, medium, or a large conference room, depending upon the size. So we have that bundles available us. Apart from the bundles which are on the Windows platform, we have appliance portfolio also. That is, these are the bars. If you see, they have a dual camera, facial recognition, and face tracking, speaker tracking. All that functionality is available. So they are preloaded with the number of applications. I will say that Zoom, Paxip, RingCentral, Microsoft Teams, GoToMeeting, and Tencent, and we are adding much more other application to these devices. So basically, one of your conference can be in the morning on the Zoom platform, second can be on the Teams, and third can be on GoToMeeting. So you can keep on switching from one application to another application. That is the ultimate flexibility within the organization. So what we are doing is, like one of the panelists has talked about, we don't want to stick to one particular VC application. We don't want to stick to one particular OEM or a brand. So this is where this hardware gives you the flexibility to run this one onto any application, any cloud application. A complete flexibility for an organization. So accordingly, we have divided this portfolio. That is Rally Bar Mini for the small room, Rally Bar for the medium, and Rally Kit Plus along with the roommate for the very, very large room. So on the whole, you have three choices with you. That is, either you run a system in a USB mode. That is the first portfolio which I have shown you, where you attach a USB cable, you bring in your device. Second is a room bundle, which is on the Windows platform. And finally, the appliance mode, where that is preloaded applications onto that. So couple of things on the personal solutions now. I think all of you know that Logitech is leading in the market as when it comes to the webcams. So these webcams which you see over there, they are right from the 4K webcam Brio, which Anand talked about. It is Windows Hello certified. That is, you sit in front of this webcam, it automatically recognizes your face and log in. So you need not to put a username password every time into your laptop or a PC or whatever it is you're using. So it is compatible with Windows Hello. And then we have range of headset, which nowadays handset are being moved to zone wired earbuds. That is, people instead of a headset now prefer to move to earbuds, whether it's a wired or wireless. We have that certified Microsoft Teams and Zoom certified wired and wireless earbuds available with us. We have recently launched a docking station, which is not just a docking station. We will say it is a speaker come a mic with a docking station plus one touch to join experience, where you have all the control buttons onto this device. With one touch, you can join into the call. So this is one of the overview of Logi Dock. So I will just skip a couple of slides to save time and move quickly on one or two aspects which I want to highlight, which is very, very recent, and people ask a lot of questions on that. One is this rally bar, which I already talked about. There are two cameras, and suppose this is your conference room where all participants are sitting, and automatically the camera will frame them like this. So means if you are in a call and other participants are sitting in a conference room, this is a view you will get in a auto framing mode. Now, what extra you get with Logitech devices, it doesn't depend upon the application which you are using. It can be Zoom, it can be WebEx, it can be Bharat VC of government, or it can be video platform, any platform you're using. This is a view which you get with Rally bars. That is a major view, that is a speaker view, which is on the main view. And there is a second view, which is picture in picture of the complete room. So most of the OEMs give you a speaker view, that is only you know which participant is speaking in the conference room. But in Rally bars, you get two views at the far end. That is one view of the speaker, and another is picture in picture, which give you a complete visibility of the room, who all are sitting in the room and who is the participant who is speaking in that particular conference. Finally, I will move to next two slides, which are just third last slide of my today presentation. I think we all has heard about BYOD mode, that is bring your own device to the conference room and start the meeting. So basically, there are two kind of BYOD modes. One is full BYOD, which is with Logitech Switch. Another is a partial BYOD, where you bring in your laptop, you connect HDMI cable, you connect a USB cable, all that stuff you connect it, and then you start a call. That is being avoided with the help of this Y-shaped cable, which give you a flexibility like you are having a Zoom room or a Teams room or any other room solution in your conference room. So this cable will give you flexibility where you connect single Y-shaped cable, that is either USB-C type or USB-A type to your laptop, and you take over the room. That is your camera, speaker, mic, display, all that is connected to your laptop with the help of a display link drivers, which are integrated into this Y-shaped cable. So very easy for a user to join into the call. So because once user enters the conference room, he will find only one cable lying on the table. If it is in a BYOD mode, he has no other choice. The moment he connects that cable to the laptop, camera, speaker, mic, display, charging of the laptop, everything is done. So he need not to call any IT guy for any assistance or something like that. Very, very easy. And finally, Logitech Subscribe, which is used to capture whiteboard, especially the whiteboard which are there in the conference room or in the education. What I will do is I will quickly show you a demo of that, how it look like when you want to capture that whiteboard. So if you see at back of me, there is a whiteboard. So I will quickly show you how I can capture this whiteboard with the help of a secondary camera. So this is a camera, sorry, I'm using on a tripod, which I'm trying to capture the whiteboard, which generally most of the guys are trying to do this in nowadays when they are teaching from home or something. And this is the view of same whiteboard with the help of Logitech Subscribe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write something on this whiteboard. Okay, and you can see there is a ghosting effect. You will not be able to see my hand, or even if I'm standing in front of the whiteboard, it is not visible to the far end. So this is how it is. Okay, so I will quickly finally, sorry, end my presentation on Logitech Subscribe, and that's all. Okay, so that's all from my end. I think I overshoot my time. Over to you, Anil.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you so much. Yes, we are a little behind schedule, so I would request to have all the panelists quickly in the center, and if there is any questions from the audience, we can quickly take them. So I think there was one question. I think somebody had posted. Do any of you have any tools to measure performance based on results achieved, not input method or time based? Would anybody want to answer that?
I will attempt it, Anil. I think it's a question from Srikanth, right?
Yes.
So if he is looking for tools that can help him measure the performance of individuals basis the results, I mean, it again depends on which aspect of performance he wants to measure, right? For example, in Logitech, we use a tool called Workday for HR related activities, but that is just HR. For sales, we use SFDC. For finance, we use Oracle. So like that, for each function, we use a different tool. So, I mean, from the question, it's not very clear what performance he wants to measure. I'm sure somebody like Shiva, for instance, coming from a manufacturing background, they will be using different tools for understanding, what are the machines producing on the factory floor. So I think it really depends on what performance Srikanth wants to measure. Depending on that, there are many tools that are available in the market. That's my response. Shiva, you want to add anything to that?
You're on mute, Shiva.
I think you covered Anand show. I think I don't.
Okay.
I don't have.
Okay.
Okay, I think this again question has come, but although you've answered it, maybe you want to answer it again. That bandwidth continues to be a challenge in India. So how can video collaboration be accelerated even with low bandwidth?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the good thing about video collaboration market per se is technology has improved, and you can actually hold us, for a demonstration of a video camera to work on mobile internet, and we will be able to demonstrate that to you. So as long as a basic 4G is available, a good 4G is available, video meetings are possible.
Okay. So thanks. I think we're also out of time. We were short of time, but I think it has been such an interesting discussion, and I'm seeing a lot of people still, with us and listening in to us and post commenting that, they found it very useful. So thank you so much to all the attendees. I'm so glad that, they all found it so useful. We've actually had a really good mix of practical and technical questions, being answered today, with CIOs managing, their entire setups, coming back with a lot of those practical answers. So it was really, really useful. And Anand, some of those technical things that you tackled have been really, really good. So thank you to all of you for, for joining us today for this panel. And thanks, Ritesh, for the wonderful presentation and the demo. I'm sure that, people found it useful. So with that, we'll, end today's webinar. In fact, there is a feedback form that is there in front of all of you in the chat window. I'll really appreciate if you could fill it up and, send it back to us so that we can understand how you actually all found it. Thanks once again for sparing your valuable time today. Wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a very, very Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.